2023 is here, right? And you want to make some change. You're not necessarily one of those people that make New Year's resolutions in order to demand change, but you want to see some results. You want to make sure you lock in for this year. Well, I'm making this video in order to keep you in check and for you to have something for the beginning of the year that you can trial and tribulate all the way through the end. And I guarantee you at the end of the year, you're going to look back at this video and say, wow, that was some pretty good information. The very first point I'm going to bring up here is going to be your surroundings. From the people that you hang out with to the places that you go. You got to understand that this all takes a part in your mentality, and it's going to build you in a certain type of way based off what you're exposed to at the most. People that you hang out with, they tend to influence you. That's something that you've certainly heard before. And influence can either be good or bad. You want to surround yourself with people that are good influences. A lot of the times nowadays, you're going to see videos on Instagram, if you are into that type of motivational content. It will say things such as, you want to be the dumbest person in the room. Not because you're stupid. You're actually smart, because you want to obtain information by the smarter people around you. You being in the atmosphere of people that are more successful than you, or even people that may just have a bit more here or know a bit more there, right? Regardless of what it is, because everyone has different desires. But these people will help you elevate to get to the next level. This is when that motivation can start to really creep in, because you're going to be around people that really draw that positive energy out of you in order for you to grow, for you to learn and understand new concepts that you wouldn't get in other places. Going to the club, you know, how many days a week, or even just consistently every week, right? If these people are constantly giving days away and nights away and then the next mornings away due to the recovery, and not the type of recovery from going to the gym, which we're going to talk about later, but just from having a good time. Not necessarily always a good time. Sometimes you go and you're like, why did I do that? Why was I out? Why did I spend so much time trying to, you know, achieve that when I could have used it to something else? Or maybe you didn't even achieve anything and you're just like, wow, that was a waste of time. There's a great possibility of that happening more than you actually being successful when going and having nights out. That's the thing a lot of people don't realize. And that type of fun can only last so long before reality kicks in. And the world isn't getting any easier to live in. You got to double down, make sure you get your work done, make sure you take care of yourself, make sure the people that are around you are actually good influences towards your future. If you can't assure that for yourself, you're certainly only going to be in a downhill spiral, because what can I say? You're a product of your environment. So make sure your environment reflects exactly where you'd want to go, or even portrays the person that you look up to. The next one I'm going to bring up, everyone's heard it before. It's just whether they actually want to take it serious or not. But health is wealth. You understand? You got to have your priorities in check. And that's my point right here. Priorities. There's no such thing as buying another body. Understand that. Money can't buy that. So that's why you got to put your health first. And that's exactly where it is your priority to go out, either get your workouts in, eat the right foods, and partake in the correct activities, meaning sleep typically, right? That's like the triangle that you gotta have in place in order for you to live a healthy, fulfilled life. You only have one body. You can't just go and buy another one. You want to treat your body like a beautifully running engine, right? You got to make sure it's got its oil. You got to make sure it's got its fuel. You got to make sure it's got its coolant to ensure that all the time that it's running, it can run at optimal running for temperature, and ensure that it's got longevity in order to take you on those road trips that you may desire to go on whenever you desire to go on, right? Some people get it mixed up. They'll have something coming up and then they'll train for it and they'll think that's enough. But how about instead of getting in shape just for that one event, you stay in shape for your whole life, or as long as you're physically capable to do so? Wouldn't that change your life? It certainly would, right? It would bring more opportunities knocking on your door. People would take you a lot more serious as well. It's so simple, right? And as you work so hard in order to get your body in that type of shape, whether it's for your food, whether it's the working out that you do, anything, you know, that fulfills your habits throughout your days. When it comes to people coming into your life, you're not gonna have that high of a tolerance level for the things that they might say if they're not getting straight to the point, if they want this and that from you. But you work so hard to be like this, you're not just gonna give them that easily. You gotta understand that they gotta work that hard in order to get it too. You're not just someone that can be picked up off the street. You worked to become who you are, and that can't be taken from you. But it also can't just be given to you. You have to work hard for it over time. So make sure that you put that as a #1 priority for sure on your list. Health is wealth. So understandably so, money is a great aid in life. And I know y'all want to hear about it. But before I even get to money, I gotta get to this point here. Reducing distractions. So many people think they have to have every single subscription that's offered to them in the world. Some for convenience reasons, some for just entertainment reasons, right? Depending on what you're using your subscriptions for, everyone has their own purposes. Can't really get too judgmental into that. But only you will know. So I'm putting it up to you in order to cut out everything that's extra and not necessary in that subscription list or whatever you want to call it that you may have, right? I've said so many times before, don't necessarily be that type of Netflix person that just likes to Netflix and relax all the time. These TV shows are designed to get you hooked. That's why the shows are so good, and they want your time in order for you to watch and for them to make money, right? But in the meantime, your time is just dying away. You're simply giving it away, whether it's at cost or at no cost, right? You're actually, and this is something that you can't get back. So all that time that you're using watching something, you could be using it towards building something. Little bit by bit, brick by brick, as they say, day by day. You could be planting a little seed in order for it to grow. Each day that comes by, as long as you're willing to put in that same effort every day, you're gonna see some type of result from your consistency compounded into the future. But if you put that time towards watching something and you're sitting there doing nothing every day, then what are you gonna have? And then later on in life, when it is that time when you have that money to go to the club where you actually hope and desire to have that money, you won't, because you won't be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you didn't put in any labor. You see where I'm getting with this? So you gotta understand, there's times for distractions, there's time for entertainment, right? But you gotta know when to draw that line. And also, if all these subscriptions are sucking up a lot of your money, you're gonna have to cut some of these things out. It could be tough, but tough times create hard people. My last point I'm gonna make here, track your finances, okay? So when it comes to spending money, a lot of us spend money just because we can spend money. We spend money because we've got it there and we can go out and buy something. Again, whether it's just for your convenience or entertainment or something that you need in order to supplement something else. You know, everyone has to use their own discretion when it comes to spending money. But you gotta understand, you have wants versus needs. Wants are just something that is you start to desire over time, depending on who has it, when they got it, how poppin' it is, you know, if it's trending. Just simple little factors that don't actually supplement your life at all towards growth. Needs are things that are essential, of course, things that you have to use to get by, you know, day by day, week by week, month by month, or even just for running your business, for going to work, such as driving a car, not depending on anyone else's schedule or time in order to complete that task. This is something that driving really provides you. It can open many opportunities for locations and events that you can be at as well. And this is also a very good networking advantage. When it comes to wants, okay? Wants are more in the alleyway of if you were to buy too new of a car than you actually need to get by. A lot of us as young people, or as a young guy speaking myself, I'm 22 years old at the time I'm making this video, and people get it confused. This is where you gotta really get technical when it comes to buying cars, okay? And a lot of people don't understand this. You need to buy a car if you're not willing to resell it within a few years or even months of having it, depending on what the car market is saying. And if you don't want to lose money, you want to optimize the time that you're owning this car. You need to either own it to drive it to the ground most of the time, or you need to have a window of how long you will own it and then sell it as the market is still within your favor, or if you know that type of car retains its value for a good amount of time. It won't depreciate too fast. A lot of people my age are buying into these new cars and they don't even need them. From payments to insurance is just something that's not very beneficial for them. And it's not to say they're making like YouTube videos or anything. They're not monetizing their cars. They're just using them to commute. Now, of course, say you could buy a mid age kind of car. Something around 10 years old isn't too bad, truthfully. As long as it runs and gets you from point A to B, that is prime, because you'll be still stashing money in your pocket that these people that are buying brand new cars aren't necessarily going to be able to do. And they're going to be required to work that much more in order to pay off that car. And then they have less free time, as opposed to you have the same money in the bank, if not more. They're working more, but they're paying off that car. While meanwhile, you don't have to pay off that type of car. So you can use your time and even your money towards other ways of growth, right? Their car for them is more of a dead end, and they're set on depreciating value because they bought the car brand new. As soon as they drove it off the lot, it lost value. These are little things that a lot of people my age, they don't really understand, and people don't necessarily tell them, but it's so very important to understand. You don't need to have the newest car on the block. Have a vehicle with a purpose, right? Don't necessarily just get something because it's brand new and think it's gonna be the best thing. Even if you buy a few years behind used, you'll find yourself out ahead as opposed to if you were to buy that brand new car. Unless you can afford it. Be my guest, of course. Not everyone that watches this video is gonna be someone that's on their uprise and want to save every single penny or even just a few pennies. Some of you may not really need to save at all. You might be racking in the cash, but I'm making this video for the people that are making those steps in order to get there. And as you're getting there, you don't want to have anything that's gonna pull you back and hold you back. And cars have no emotions. Understand that. If you love this car, man, that car don't love you. It doesn't even know you. Right? It doesn't even know your name. You might type in your name on whatever computer, but that computer is programmed, okay? It doesn't have any emotions. Don't get it twisted. These cars, like, man, they're for everybody, you know, they're for the streets.
He needs some milk.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all for this video here. I hope you guys retain some of the information that I'm giving out. I'll certainly have more videos along these lines to come. And if you guys enjoyed it, you already know what to do. Like the video. I do certainly plan on keeping these videos going, rolling into 2023, so that way we can all grow at an exponential rate together. You know what I'm saying? What's the point in one person growing when you could have everyone growing? That's one thing we got to realize, and that's why I rock this, you know, this sweater so heavily. Prove them, that's my brand, in order for people to always have that reminder that past all the hate, past all the doubt, past all the odds that are against them, they can always still get the job done upon their own will. They got to motivate themselves and have that ambition within in order to get the task done. And that's how we got to treat 2023. We're going to prove them all year round to see exactly what we can do, what we're capable of doing, and we're going to show them how it's done. Remember that. The clock is ticking. Prove them. Later.